Yeah.
Choo choo. Choo choo.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Hmm? What is this? Huh? This is normal? Huh? Thanks for the hydrate, by the way. You think eating a Pop-Tart is normal? What kind of Pop-Tart? Tell me now, what kind of Pop-Tart is that you're eating? Hmm? Hmm? Hi. Hi, guys. Strawberry. Enjoy. You're allowed to enjoy food. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your food. Hi, everyone. Hi. Wow. Yes. Yes, Silver. Bye, cause I miss you. You can sleep if you need to. If you're tired, I believe you. I trust you. Yeah. Yeah. Today's been a day I feel like a beanbag. That's the only thing that I can say. I feel like a beanbag. 6 hours. That's pretty good. How many hours do you normally sleep? In 3 days. You know what? 1 meal in 2 days. 1 meal in 2 days. Get on my level. Get on my level. I skipped meals for 2 days accidentally. I just had my first meal in like 48 hours or more a couple hours ago. So yay. Don't sit on me, Neff. That's too much. Don't sit on me. I had a Panda Express. If you guys know that, I had Panda Express. I also went to Sonic. I got ice cream, but I didn't eat the ice cream yet. I know, but I told you that I wouldn't, Super. I told you that I wouldn't eat the ice cream last night. I don't have any in my freezer. You can't blame me. My appetite was not there, alright? Yeah. Hi. Hi, Roken. Yes, today's been a day. How was your day? Was it also dayful? Hey, thanks for the raid, Enemy Dude. How was your stream? What did you do? Duty things? I hope so. How are you doing? We just started. I'm a little too close to stream. I know. I'm full screen in your face. It's a little bit much. This is so late. Yeah, I know. I can't miss a day, Relkin. I can't miss a day. I was a little bit late. I'm about an hour late from when I wanted to start. But, you know, here's to tomorrow. Here's to tomorrow being on time. And oh my gosh, what day is it? It's like... it's Monday night. Ooh. Ooh. My birthday is coming too fast. And I don't have enough things to do. So I need to probably sit down and make a list tomorrow. And I'll make a little bit of a Photoshop thing or draw something. We'll make some events and we'll make a party out of it. We're gonna have a nice time, okay guys? I promise. I promise to you. Snack drop. Are those donuts? A rainbow donut actually sounds kind of amazing. I haven't had like a rainbow donut. What would a rainbow donut flavor be? Would it just be like vanilla, but they use like food coloring to change it? Do you think? I think that's what it would be. Yeah. I'm gonna have a birthday stream on the 16th. Then I just have to... I have to plan something fun. No. Sorry, I had to read something. I'm back to reading chat. I was looking at something else, but we're good. Yeah, thank you! How was your stream, Enemy? I always forget, like, okay, I'm really bad with names, so unless your name is, like, written on your username, I'm most likely just gonna say your username first. It's just the way it is with me. Oh my gosh. I do see you all the time on Twitter, though. I hope you had a nice stream. Today we're gonna have a little bit of a chill day. I thought maybe we could watch some YouTube and talk. I didn't mean talking like that. Nice. Chats are always nice after a really long time. That sounds lovely. You guys always want to talk about weird stuff, huh? I know you, Monty. I know you. I see you. That's what you want to talk about, huh? I got a login for YouTube.
Nani?
Sometimes I'm scared to say this, authorization code out loud, but also sometimes I want to say it out loud. Do you think somebody could track me off of that code? Probably not, right? It'd be too hard, right? I just won't say it. I won't say it out loud. I won't say it out loud just in case. I know you guys. I feel like it's dangerous. Yeah, exactly, Marine. That's why I'm a bit scared too. If I would, I think.
Hello, motherfucker.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah.
When chat speaks. That's like a documentary right there. When chat speaks. Do you guys know that for the entire time that I've had my new computer, so like probably like over 6 months, right? I never changed the background. It was just like basic. Well, I changed the background, the wallpaper, like a few days ago, so that it doesn't say "I buy power" all over it. And it's pretty now. I did that once before. I typed my authorization code into chat, and then I was like, I didn't hit enter. I saw it, and I was like, copy pasted it and erased it. Hi, Nezu. I saw you lurking in offline. How are you, huh? You know, I wonder sometimes if people are still, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Oh! Oops, I minimized everything. 1 second, please. Okay, I can see chat again. I am an offline lurker. I will be honest. Sometimes when I'm down, I'll open up my OBS. Not my VTube studio because I know you guys know I'm looking that way. But I'll open up my OBS and I'll just like look at the integrated chat through there and be like, And it... not all the time. But only sometimes I do. And it does, it makes me feel a little better if I'm having a bad day, I guess. Know that you guys are there for me. You know what I mean? Like, without overtly messaging everyone, I can tell when you guys are there, and it just it gives me a little bit of comfort. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Offline chat is cute. You guys are cute. It's basically just a chat room. Let me see. I wanted to pull this up here. What was I gonna do? I literally just lost my train of thought for the 2nd time in a row. How stupid am I? How stupid am I? Oh, I remember what I was gonna do now. Oh my gosh, do you see? I'm like a bird. I gotta stay focused or else I'll forget forever. Here to this day. Wait, 1 second. I'm here and then we're gonna watch some videos, but I'm reading chat right now. So let me do this because I did not do this yesterday. And then over here. Okay. One. Dun, 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 dun. Not as pretty as your eyes, Chris. Thank you. Pause. There. So I almost forgot to do that yesterday, and that's not good to forget things, chat. Being forgetful only has its perks when you don't remember what you forgot to do. But then when you remember what you forgot to do, it kind of sucks. So I guess ignorance is bliss. That's it. That's the secret, chat. Just don't remember. That's the whole secret. Here, let me turn up the music. Let's relax a little bit together, and let's just watch some things, huh? Also, I could use a little bit of luck today. I went and it's a little embarrassing for me, but I usually would do it on like Friday the 13th because it's a holiday for bad luck, and I would go when my parents were here. We'd go to like eat Chinese food, and then part of the fun was getting the fortune cookie, and then that would be like your extra luck for the bad luck day. So whenever I'm feeling like my life is a little bit too much bad luck or badness, I go to get Chinese food, and I have the fortune cookie. So I haven't opened my fortune cookie yet, but I'm saving it for later tonight. And I do have fortunes here in the chat, so if you guys would like a fortune too, with the first fortune, I'll read your fortune, then I'll get up and go get my cookie, and I'll read mine. And anybody else in the chat can also get their fortune read too. Welcome home, Merps. But maybe that might be fun. We can do fortunes together. But yeah. Oh, I've never done that before in bed. With some fortunes that might not work, but on some it might. I don't know, Jackaru. Maybe you can find out. There's not anything like about Chinese food fortunes here. Black. Yeah. Yup. You know what? The next one, chat, I'll let you guys do in bed. Try and time it with a Texas speech. Let's do this one. The toaster.
Felix, get out of the freezer. Come on, get out. Yeah, your feet are sticking to the bottom. Yeah, come on, don't lick it.
Don't lick it, don't lick it. He's stuck. Music to my ears.
Lose not my lightsaber.
Hold on just a second, I'm sorry. My cats are... Stop!
Yeah. Whoa! Boo!
Why is it spice?
For you, little Uzi, a Rob Zombie poster.
I like your cat.
You don't like it?
It's not cotton candy. It's like styrofoam. Call her. And yes, I have. Meow.
He is not a happy boy.
Meow. No way that's the cat. No way that was the cat. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Too small.
My mom washed the floors, and this is what happened to my cat.
I love you. I love you.
To my cat.
I love you. I love. Ah! I love it. They're trying to fly. Whoa.
For you, little Uzi, a Rob Zombie poster.
Meow. Meow. Meow.
She's acting like, okay.
I began to pass out. Then my head hit the wall. Boom!
Boom.
He's still purring.
Moses, you can't just knock stuff over.
Hey,
It's a lesson right there.
MJ, you know you're not trapped in there, right?
I give you this piece of paper as a token of my love. She accepted it.
This cat was gonna fall at our football game.
How did the cat get there? What the heck? They got the cat!
Here comes the boy.
Look at those teeth.
No, stop. It's my turn. No, you can't play the bishop there.
Hey,
Hold
you
on.
don't play like that. Hey,
No.
dude, you
What
gotta
are you doing
wait
with your
turn.
king? Stop.
Stop it. Bouncy Jerry. Whoa! Is your cat okay? I feel like this is an issue. That's also an issue.
What do you have? Huh?
Oh god, oh god, oh god.
What makes that much noise? Oh my god, is it stuck in your mouth?
It was stuck in her mouth!
Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
I'm fast as fluff, boy. Still fast as fluff, boy.
Bling.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
I began to pass out.
Good night, Kane. Sleep well.
Then my head hit the wall.
Boom.
What are you doing in my house? What are you doing in my house? I want waffle fry.
That cat has a long.
Soup.
Oh.
I'm talking to my friends. Mama, quit bothering me.
¿Qué haces?
At first, I was like, feet, as a joke. But bro, I don't think it's a joke anymore.
Yeah, now I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
People been looking at me. I'm just like, what you looking at? Stranger. Stranger.
Вы только посмотрите на нее, как она кулак агрессивно держит.
What do you say?
Эй! Мне кажется, эта кошка в этой семье меня не любит.
I am under the water. Please help me.
Did you name your cat Liza? Lisa. Wow. It's a hard-working cat. He knows it's not his floor. Yeah. Why are you mad, huh? Is this popsicle stick? Hey, why are you mad, huh? Bum 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 bum. This is our hype. When a hype train only gets halfway completed. Bum 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 bum.
You know that feeling when someone interrupts you?
When all you have is the end piece of the bread.
Hi, everyone.
Does anybody else's cat like to just sit up and watch them cook? Or is it just ours?
Whoa! That one's really cute. I like that one. Let's do this one. Huh?
The crime at the center of today's story is considered to be one of the most disturbing of all time. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload 2 or 3 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please invite the like button to come to the zoo with you, and then once you get there, accidentally spill honey all over them, and then push them into the bear enclosure. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story. Austin Harif was born on December 21st, 1996, to a dentist and a pharmacist. They lived in a beautiful home in Palm Beach County, Florida, which is not only one of the nicest and wealthiest places to live in Florida, but it is one of the nicest and wealthiest places to live in all of America. And that's why, as of 2021, there are 44 billionaires that call this paradise their home. In 2010, when Austin was 13 years old, his parents suddenly got divorced, and within the same calendar year, both of his parents had new girlfriends and boyfriends. Now, of course, this was a shock to Austin and to his 1 year younger sister Haley, but they both relatively quickly adjusted to their new normal. And that was in large part because the kids didn't move out. They stayed in the family home with their mom, and their father, he did move out, but he moved into a home that was very close by. About a year after the divorce, Austin began high school, and immediately he excelled. He was placed into all advanced classes, and within these advanced classes, Austin was consistently at the top of his class. Austin was also a big athletic guy. He was about 6 feet tall and weighed about 200 pounds. And so naturally, he played football for all 4 years he was in high school. And for 1 year, his sophomore year, he also wrestled. But despite his size and willingness to play these very rough, physical sports,
super cool.
Austin was not an aggressive guy. In fact, his football coaches actually used to criticize him for not being aggressive enough. And on game days, they would try to make him mad in hopes that would inspire him to go out there and smash some people. But it really didn't work because Austin was Austin. He was just kind of a laid-back guy who was actually much more interested in helping people than smashing them. In fact, towards the end of high school, Austin became obsessed with trying to identify a career that would allow him to help the most people. And he was so passionate about this that when he spoke about it, a huge smile would kind of involuntarily appear on his face. And so because of this, and because of Austin's generally happy disposition, his father very lovingly began referring to him as the happy boy. Shortly before Austin's graduation in 2015, he received a letter in the mail from Florida State University, and it was informing him he had been accepted into their 4-year pre-med program. Austin had settled on medicine as being his intended career path to help the most people, and so being accepted into this very prestigious program was like a best case scenario. And so Austin and his family were elated, and that summer that followed his high school graduation was totally charmed. Austin was on cloud 9, he spent a lot of time with his family and his friends, and then finally at the end of the summer, his family packed all of his stuff into the car, and they drove 6 hours north to Tallahassee, where the Florida State campus was. They helped move him into his dorm, and then afterwards they gave him a big hug, said good luck, and they left. And I'm sure on their ride back, the family members thought to themselves, Austin is doing so great. He is not only ready for college, he is ready to be an adult. He's ready to live on his own and be responsible. And at the end of Austin's first year in college, that supposition about him ready to be an adult seemed to be accurate. Austin got excellent grades, he met a nice girlfriend, and even though he wasn't playing organized sports like football, he had found another athletic outlet in bodybuilding, and he had actually built a decent-sized social media presence around bodybuilding and fitness. But underneath all of this public success Austin was having that year, he was actually struggling.
That's a good point. How come other people decide that you're an adult and are like, excuse me, a what now? A what now? With bills and a house and grocery shopping? A what now?
A lot of the time, he just wasn't telling anyone. In a journal he kept, he documented a deep sense of inadequacy caused primarily from his sense that his peers didn't accept him. And so he would write endlessly about how if he could just stop being so shy and be more assertive and outgoing, that more people would embrace him and would like him and would accept him. Over the course of that year, Austin also started abusing different substances. Those included things like alcohol, marijuana, and Vyvanse. Vyvanse is a drug that is a stimulant, and it's used to treat people with attention deficit disorder. He also experimented with hallucinogenic drugs like acid and mushrooms, and he also tried MDMA, which is kind of like a cross between a stimulant and a hallucinogenic. And those are just the drugs that we are aware he was taking. It's entirely possible he was taking other drugs too. Regardless, Austin began oscillating between the high of whatever drug or combination of drugs he was on to the low of his sober mind, which was totally saturated with anxious and depressive thoughts. Before the end of the school year, Austin was secretly poised for a full-blown mental breakdown, and it seemed like he knew it was coming too. In the last month before the end of school,
can I possess that power of knowing when you're about to go through a mental breakdown? That would really help to have that like sixth sense. Tomorrow, my life will end. I wish that I could feel that coming.
his internet search history is filled with questions like, I think I'm crazy, what do I do? And how do you know if you're crazy? And how to deal with obsessive thoughts? And do I need to sleep? And what happens if you don't?
Oh, do you need to sleep? Man, I wish I knew that power.
Sleep. it was clear he was starting to question his own sanity. When Austin finally returned back home from Florida State that summer, his family immediately noticed there was something wrong with Austin. Within a few days of being home, Austin had moved his bed from his bedroom down into the garage, claiming that the reason he did this was because the house was full of demons. At night, instead of sleeping, Austin would patrol the house. He would literally just walk all around the house all night, never stopping, and every 2 hours he would knock on the bedroom doors of his family members and loudly announce that he was guarding them from the demons in the house. Now, you can imagine how his family felt at the time. This was so unbelievably weird and totally out of character that they just didn't really know what to do. Even though it was obvious there was something wrong, they didn't jump into action. Instead, the only thing they did at first was to just start locking their bedroom doors at night to prevent Austin from coming inside during his nighttime patrols. But as the summer progressed and Austin continued to act totally weird with no explanation, his family began to become convinced that he must be on drugs, that is what would explain all of this totally strange behavior. And so when they confronted him about his drug use, he would admit that he was taking drugs, lots of different drugs, psychedelics, stimulants, you name it. He's taking all these drugs. And so naturally, his family...
Are you on drugs? Yup, all of them! Every single one! So many drugs!
Latched on to his drug use as being the root cause of his very strange behavior. And so they focused their efforts almost exclusively on getting Austin clean again. But towards the end of the summer, Austin said he wasn't taking any drugs, but Austin was still acting totally crazy and unhinged. And so around mid-August, the family decided they had to utilize something called the Baker Act. Under the Baker Act, individuals in Florida who are suspected of severe mental illness can be detained for up to 72 hours at the behest of their loved ones. And during these 72 hours, this individual is thoroughly assessed to see what's going on with them. And then at the end of those 72 hours, they are given a treatment plan that their family is supposed to help them enact. But before the family could utilize the Baker Act, something horrific happened. On the morning of August 15th, one of Austin's very close friends, who he had known since second grade, said Austin just showed up at his house without calling ahead of time or letting him know, which was very uncharacteristic. And when this friend opened the door to see what Austin wanted, Austin just asked him, "What year was I born?" And so the friend says, 1996. And as soon as Austin heard this, he didn't give a reaction to it. He just turned around and he left. And so this longtime friend is looking at Austin walking away, wondering, like, what's going on with this guy? Is he high on drugs? Is he drunk?
Hey, chat. When's my birthday? Hey, chat. When's my birthday? Do you know? Okay. That's all he did. Now imagine that's in the middle of the night.
Like, what was that? So the friend goes back inside his house and he's thinking to himself, like, what should I do? And so after a couple of minutes, he decides, you know what, I gotta call Austin and make sure he's okay. So he calls Austin picks up, and it's unclear what they talked about on the phone, but the friend convinced Austin to come back to his house and to just spend the day with him. But really, the friend just wanted to make sure Austin was okay. And so Austin comes back to the friend's house, and then the two of them actually would leave the house and meet up with some of their other friends that were in town that summer, as well as meet up with Austin's sister. And so the group, they decide they're going to go to the beach for the day. And on their walk to the beach, Austin tells the group that he just needs to get something at his house and that he will meet them down at the water. And so at this point, the group believes Austin is just fine. So they say, okay, yep, we'll meet you down there. And so Austin breaks off. He goes to his house. And when he goes back to the beach and meets up with his group of friends again, he's changed his outfit. He was now wearing this very thick, large football jersey. He was wearing long sweatpants that were also very thick. He had on 2 wristwatches and he had on sunglasses. And so as he walks down onto the beach, his friends look up at him, and it's super hot out, and they're at the beach. So this is a totally weird outfit to have on. And immediately they start kind of giving him crap about his strange outfit choice. But Austin did not think it was funny at all. And at first he was...
Austin believes in demons and patrols at night and used to take drugs, but now he's gonna do something crazy.
quiet, but then he kind of lashed out and said, if you tell me I'm crazy, I will kill you. And with this, his friends did not give him any more crap. Everyone just said, okay, man, hey, didn't mean anything by it, just giving you a hard time, no big deal. But Austin's like clearly worked up, and so his sister comes over to him and she's like, hey, calm down.
Stop
it's okay,
being crazy.
It's not a
He's
big
like,
deal.
I will kill you
And
too
during this
soon.
conversation, Austin suddenly goes back to being normal again, and he turns to his sister and he says, I'm actually half horse, and I'm immortal. And his sister's like,
wow.
Well, happy not birthday.
you really need to get professional help. You need to see a therapist or a psychologist or something.
My birthday.
Something is wrong with you, and it's been wrong all summer. You need to get help. Now, apparently, Austin actually responded to this very positively. And he said, I agree. There is something going on, and I do need to get help. You're right. And so after that, Austin and the rest of the group, they stayed at the beach for several hours. And then in the evening time, Austin, his sister, and Austin's very close friend, who was the guy that saw Austin in the morning when he asked, what year was I born, they all said they had to leave. And so the trio, they leave the beach and they head to Duffy's, which was a restaurant in town. And they were going there to meet up with Austin's father and his father's girlfriend. And so as they're getting to this restaurant, they're walking along the sidewalk, they're nearing this restaurant.
Roken, at least that you know that it happens and what it is, and I hope that you get the help for it, if you need it. And I know there's not much that I can do from here, but I'm really proud of you, and I'm here for you as much as I can be.
When suddenly Austin turns to his sister and says, hey, I need to test out my immortality. And he just turns away from her, away from the sidewalk, towards traffic, and just starts walking into traffic like he's going to let a car hit him to test his immortality. And so his sister immediately was able to grab him and pulled him back onto the sidewalk, and then basically stood on the left side of him, preventing him from running out into traffic, and kind of pushed him along up the sidewalk right up to the front door of this restaurant. And when they got there, Austin had stopped trying to walk out into traffic. He was acting normal again, and it was there that the trio met up with Austin's father and his father's girlfriend, and the five of them went into Duffy's restaurant. It was about 7:45 p.m. when they got inside.
Austin is in the black shirt and gray visor. So this is the actual CCTV footage. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be hard to watch.
And they were very quickly sat in the very back of the restaurant in this booth. And so there was a CCTV camera that watched them while they were inside this building. And so they're sitting at this booth, and about 3 minutes after having sat down, Austin gets up and walks away from the booth and walks as if he's going towards the bathroom, but then stops, doesn't go to the bathroom, turns around and walks back towards the front of the building, and then walks out the front doors, just leaves the restaurant altogether. Now, it's unclear if the rest of his family saw him do this. It doesn't seem like they did, but just a minute later, Austin comes back inside the restaurant and just walks right back to his table and sits down like nothing had ever happened. Less than 10 minutes later, Austin would get up again from his table, except this time, instead of feigning going to the bathroom, he just walks straight from his table right out the front doors of the restaurant and disappears. A couple minutes later, Austin's mother, who was not at dinner with them, she was at her home, which happened to be nearby this restaurant. She was home when she heard the sound of someone coming into her house. And so she went around to see who it was, and she found her son, Austin, in her kitchen, drinking vegetable oil, and there's Parmesan cheese all over the counter that apparently he had been eating as well. And so she runs up to him and she grabs the vegetable oil and she puts it down and she tells him to stop, at which point Austin does stop. And then I guess Austin just went up to his room and he changed out of his clothes because perhaps he got oil all over his shirt. And then his mom just drove him back to the restaurant. And so she watched him get out of the car and she watched him go through the...
Your son comes home and he starts chugging vegetable oil and eating Parmesan cheese. And your first thought is, oh, I've got to get him back to his sister and his friend at the restaurant. Let's go. It's your first thought? Oh my gosh. That vegetable oil definitely didn't fill him up. He's gonna need a real plate of food. Come on, let's go.
The front door, and then she drove off. And so about 30 minutes after he left that second time, Austin walks through the front doors of the restaurant. He's got a different shirt on, different hat on, and he just walks to the back of the restaurant where his sister, his friend, and his father's girlfriend are, and he sits down like nothing had ever happened. At first, it looks like everyone at the table is just silent. But then Austin's father very clearly says something to Austin, and it seems kind of hostile. And it would turn out Austin's father, who loved his son, was just totally at a loss loss for what to do with him, and he said to Austin when he sat back down, "What is wrong with you?" And at this, Austin just stands up and presses his father's face back up against the seat, kind of pinning him there. And then at some point, he just lets go, he leaves the booth, and he walks right out of the restaurant for a third time. Austin's friend, who was eating with them, he got up and kind of chased after Austin, but he was about 30 seconds behind him, and so by the time he got outside, he didn't know where Austin went, and so he quickly came back in the restaurant. He told the rest of the group he didn't know where Austin was, and so at this point, Austin's father's girlfriend would actually call the police and report Austin missing. They knew he was totally unhinged, and they didn't know where he was going to go, if he was a threat to himself or someone else, and so they figured they should just tell the police and have the police go find him. About 4 miles away from this restaurant, 53-year-old Michelle Mishkon.
I know that this story doesn't end well because it's a Mr. Ballin story, alright? But I'm so invested in this story. I am like hoping for the best for him. Oh gosh. Oh, my heart's not ready.
Was sitting in her garage watching TV. Normally, she would be joined by her husband, 59-year-old John Stevens, but he was out walking their dog. So for the time being, Michelle was alone. The couple had been married for roughly 20 years. They had 3 kids together from previous marriages, and they were just totally in love with each other. That garage was like their happy place. That was basically like their living room.
Cool
they loved having the door wide open so they could wave to neighbors.
This is a real photo of their garage. Can we just... I'm gonna go to the other side. Look at this. This is a pretty freaking sick garage. A little messy, but it looks interesting.
Flag people down to have a drink with them or just chat with them. They were just known to be a very happy, loving couple that were fun to be around. And according to their kids, they had both recently retired. John retired from his landscaping company that he owned, and Michelle retired from her financial advisory job. And the two of them were apparently both just really excited about retirement life. They were excited to spend more time together and go out with their friends and go out fishing on their boat with their dog, and then also spend as much time as they could just lounging back in their garage. John and Michelle's neighbor across the street was a middle-aged man named Jeff Fisher. Jeff was fairly close with the couple. He would usually watch their dogs anytime they went away, and he would often go in their garage and have a drink and just kind of hang out with them. And so this particular night, he was over in his house and he was going to bed early. So he laid down in his bed, he's getting ready to go to sleep, when he hears some strange sounds coming from outside his window across the street, over near John and Michelle's property. And so Jeff sits up in his bed and kind of strains his ears to see what it was that he heard. And as he's trying to listen for some faint sound, he suddenly hears a
Well, they are white.
curdling scream, a woman's scream, coming from across the street. And so Jeff instantly leapt into action. He jumped out of his bed, he ran downstairs, and he ran out his front door, and he looked across the street, and he saw this unknown man, some young man that was slamming the car door of Michelle's car that was parked in her driveway, and he begins walking up the driveway, and at the top of the driveway, Jeff sees Michelle is standing in the garage, and she looks totally terrified, and she's facing this unknown young man. And of course, this unknown young man was Austin Harif. Now, Jeff had no idea what was actually going on. All he knew was he heard this scream, which was probably Michelle, and he's looking out there and he's seeing a situation that just doesn't look good. And so instinctively, he decided he would just run across the street and make sure Michelle was okay. And if he had to, he would confront this unknown man, Austin. So Jeff begins running across his property, trying to get across the street to Michelle. But before he could even get across the street, he's looking up and he can see this guy, Austin, has grabbed Michelle and thrown her on the ground, and now he's on top of her and he's beating her. And so Jeff runs onto the driveway, and as he's going right up the driveway between the two cars that were parked there, Austin leaps off of Michelle. He turns around and he looks at Jeff and he says, "You don't want a part of this." And now Jeff, he's a pretty big guy, and so he's looking at Austin and he knows that if he doesn't do anything, this guy is just going to continue pummeling poor Michelle, and he had no idea where John was. And so he ran up and kind of lunged at Austin, and as he did that, Austin swung and he hit Jeff right across the side of the head. But Jeff took the hit, he didn't fall down, he grabbed Austin by the collar and threw him as hard as he could to the ground. And Austin, he hit the pavement hard, face first. And so Jeff is looking at this guy, kind of thinking he's not going to get up. But as he's assessing the situation, watching Austin stand back up again, Jeff suddenly feels a blinding pain in his face, in the side of his head, in his neck, on his back. And he looks down and he sees blood all over his arms. It's everywhere. He's covered in blood. It would turn out Austin was carrying a knife. And so when he punched Jeff, that knife went into his face, it cut the side of his head, it cut his neck, and it cut his back. He had 5 different puncture points from that one swing. And so Jeff believed at the time this was a potentially fatal wound. He was worried perhaps his jugular had been struck and he was bleeding to death. And he's seeing Austin stand back up, coming right after him with this knife. And so Jeff decides their only chance is for him to run and call the police. And so he runs into Michelle's property. He's thinking that he's kind of drawing this guy towards him away from Michelle. He runs into their property, kind of slams into all their doors. He goes out a back door and then he loops around the property and then he makes a run for it straight across the street to his house. Never once did he turn around to see if this guy was after him. He figured he was right behind him. He gets to his house, he runs inside, he locks the door, and then he calls 911.
Police and medical. Young man beating up a woman across the street.
Are either of them injured? Can you tell from where you are?
Yes, there's a girl laying on the ground. He beat her up. I ran over there. I'm bleeding profusely here at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Can you tell if she's conscious?
No, it does not appear so, no. I've been stabbed in the back. I'm bleeding pretty bad.
After the call is placed and Jeff is certain that help is on the way, he's barely conscious, but all he can remember thinking was, I hope this maniac, Austin, has abandoned his attack and just run off. Or, I hope John has come outside and he's helping his wife. But unfortunately, all Jeff could hear was the sound of Austin across the street making these loud, animalistic grunting sounds. And at the same time, he hears the sound of someone screaming at the top of their lungs. He doesn't even know if it's one person, if it's 2 people, if it's male, if it's female. All he hears is screams and grunting sounds. And then seconds later, the police show up. The following narrative is the account of the second responding officer, who we'll just call Dan, and the first responding officer we'll just call Kristen. And so Dan, he comes flying down the street, he's got his sirens on, and he pulls in right behind Kristen's cop car, which is parked right out in front of John and Michelle's property. Kristen is already running up the driveway, her gun is out, she's getting ready to engage somebody at the top of the driveway. And so Dan, he hops out of his car, he's got his hand on his gun, and as he turns to run up the driveway, his view is obscured. There are 2 cars parked in the driveway, and so he can't see what's at the top of the driveway that Kristen is apparently getting ready to draw her gun on. But as he begins running up the driveway, he sees there is this massive 6-foot wide stream of blood just coming down the driveway. And so he goes around the left side of the left car, he goes up and he sees Kristen right at the top of the driveway. She's got her gun aimed at the ground right in front of the car, so he can't see what's in front of the car yet. He comes bombing around the left side right behind Kristen, and he looks down at what she's aiming her gun at, and he sees there's this man lying on the ground, his eyes are open, he's just laying there kind of stiff, and he's looking up at Kristen, and he's looking up at Dan, and he's just quietly saying, please help me. The man on the ground was John Stevens, and on top of John Stevens was Austin. He was kind of laying sideways on John's chest. He had his left arm wrapped around John's neck to kind of hold him in place, and then he had his right arm and he was doing something to John's face. But Dan couldn't really tell what he was doing. All he could take in was there was clearly an aggressor and they needed to get him off of the victim. But Kristen could not take the shot because if she did, she ran the risk of firing the bullet through Austin into John, killing John. And so Dan tells Kristen, hold on, I'm going to tase him. And so he moves around Kristen to her left side. So he's positioned looking down at the back of Austin. He pulls out his taser, and right before he shoots his taser into Austin's back, he sees what Austin is doing to John's face. With his free right hand, he was reaching into John's mouth and pulling his cheek out, kind of like a fish hook. He was pulling it out as far as he could, and then he was biting into John's cheek, and he was ripping out pieces of flesh and chewing and Dan swallowing them. And from his position, Dan only saw this for a second, but he suddenly noticed, and Kristen, the other officer, would later confirm, there were all these chunks already missing from John's face. So Dan kind of snapped out of what he was seeing and fired his taser into the back of Austin, but it did nothing. It had absolutely no effect. Austin was entirely focused on biting John's face. That was all he was doing. He wasn't even registering that there were cops with their guns drawn on him. It was like they weren't even there. And so Dan runs back around Kristen to the other side of her. He's now on her right side, so he's standing right next to the car, looking down at Austin's front. And he tells Kristen to kind of back up for a second, and then Dan winds up and kicks Austin square in the face, knocking his head off of John's face. But as soon as Austin comes off of John, he doesn't get up and try to fight with Dan. Instead, he just jumps back down, gets a deeper grip on John, and plunges his mouth back onto John's face. And so again, Dan winds up and boots Austin square in the face, knocking his head back. But again, he's totally unfazed. He doesn't want to attack the officers. He just wants to eat John's face. And so he goes right back down, gets a tighter grip. He goes back and he starts chewing on John's face again. And so Dan was just repeatedly kicking him in the face over and over and over again, right as another set of officers showed up, and they had a canine. They had a dog. And so they come flying up. They kind of see the situation, and Dan tells them, release the dog. And so sure enough, they release the canine. The canine clamps down on Austin's right arm, the arm that was fish hooking and kind of pulling John's face out. And the dog really got a good bite on his arm and yanked it away from John's face. But Austin just instantly ripped his arm back, doing severe damage to his arm from the dog's teeth, and just repositioned himself and went back to biting John's face. And so the dog, just as it was trained, did another bite. It grabbed back onto Austin's arm.
I think the part is very, very hard. They don't want to just kill the guy. They can tell that he's obviously, you know, he needs help too. They already tried a taser. They already are trying kicking him in the face. And I think, you know, they don't really want to just shoot him in the face yet. You know what I mean? It's a very complicated situation.
Off of John's body, and so his arm is back like this again, and Austin, again, unfazed, just yanks his arm out of the dog's teeth, again shredding the muscles of his arm, and gets back in position and continues to eat John's face. And then finally, the dog gets another bite into Austin's arm, and this time when the dog managed to yank Austin's arm away from John, Dan timed it so he booted Austin square in the face right as his arm was being pulled back, and he hit him hard enough that Austin actually flew off of John and landed on his back. And as soon as he was on the ground, Dan actually leapt over John and landed on Austin's face, smashing his head into the cement, which kind of stunned him for a second. And as soon as he was stunned, Dan whipped out his handcuffs, threw it over one of Austin's wrists, and began pulling him by the handcuff up the driveway away from John. But as soon as he had some separation and Dan went to put the other handcuff on Austin, Austin began fighting back, and he looked up at Dan and he screamed, "Kill me! I'm eating humans! Kill me!" Dan didn't even know what to do, and so he's trying to put the other handcuff on him. The whole time Austin is screaming, "Kill me! Kill me!" And so other officers had to run in, and then finally, after 3 other officers came over, they were able to hold Austin down long enough to get both handcuffs on him. After Austin was finally restrained, the officers checked on the victims. They checked on Michelle, who was in the garage, and unfortunately she was deceased. She had died from blunt force trauma. And John, even though he had been alive when the police first showed up, he had succumbed to the multitude of injuries he had sustained, from stabbings to beatings to having a portion of his face ripped off. It's believed after John came back from his walk, which would have been right after Jeff had been attacked and ran back to his house, John saw Austin in his garage attacking his wife, and John ran in to try to save her. And so ultimately John would die trying to save the woman that he loved. Their dog would survive the attack. It was unharmed, and it was given to one of their children to take care of. And Jeff Fisher, the neighbor who tried to save John and Michelle, he would survive the attack and make a full recovery. After Austin was finally handcuffed and was laying restrained on the driveway, he suddenly became unresponsive. He was rushed to the hospital, where it was determined he had drank some poisonous chemicals, most likely from inside of John and Michelle's garage, and that was what was causing his organs to fail. Ultimately, Austin would go into a coma for 11 days from whatever he ingested, but the doctors were able to save his life, and so he would come out of that coma and he would make a full physical recovery. It was initially assumed that because of Austin's drug abuse history, that he must have been on some drug when he perpetrated this heinous crime. It was speculated that he could have been on bath salts or flakka, which are these synthetic hallucinogenic drugs which are very powerful, and at the time they were quite popular in Florida, and they'd caused some other users to go on these kind of wild, violent rampages. And so it seemed to make a lot of sense that he must have been on one of those. But when Austin's toxicology report finally came back, it showed he only had a very small amount of THC in his system, which is the drug found in marijuana, and then the other drugs that were in his system were all induced by the doctors and nurses.
He was getting clean like his parents were trying to help him. It was mental disorder.
At the hospital, which meant at the time of this attack, Austin was effectively sober. When the police asked Austin, "Why did you do this?" he initially said, "I don't remember, I don't know," but eventually he would open up and he would tell this story that no sane person could possibly understand. He said after he left that restaurant where his family was that third time after he fought with his father and he stormed out, after that, he saw this dark figure outside with a white face, and he knew immediately that this figure was evil. And so instinctively, Austin began running away from this evil figure. And so he ran about 4 miles into John and Michelle's neighborhood. And when he got to this neighborhood, a neighborhood he was not familiar with, that he didn't intend to go to on purpose, he just kind of wound up there. He said he saw this brightly lit up garage, and he ran up into it, believing he could enlist the help of the people inside of this house, and that they would help him defeat this evil figure that was lurking somewhere nearby. And so he runs up into this garage, which happens to be John and Michelle's garage, and Michelle is in there. John is not. He's out for the walk with his dog, and Austin approaches her and tries to get her to help him, but he probably came off looking completely insane, and Michelle screamed. At which point, Austin said he believed Michelle was a witch, and so he pulled out his knife and he attacked her. And then after she fell to the ground, Austin said he drank a bottle of alcohol or something, which we now know was most likely very poisonous lawn chemicals that was just in the garage. After he drinks that bottle, he turns around and now he's looking out of the garage towards the street. And he said he saw this other figure in the doorway with a dog next to him. And then Austin said his mind just went blank. It's believed the figure he saw in the doorway was John Stevens returning from his walk, but we don't know for sure, and frankly, this story is pretty incoherent to begin with, because it doesn't account for the fact that before John came back, Austin had been grappling with Jeff Fisher and stabbing Jeff Fisher, the neighbor. But Austin would say he has no recollection of encountering Jeff Fisher, he has no recollection of John or what he looked like, and he certainly doesn't remember biting John's face, and he had no memory of any interaction.
I just want to say that the family that sadly passed didn't leave their house either.
With police. He said that basically he turned around, he sees this figure, this dog, and then his mind went blank, and then he woke up about 2 weeks later in the hospital. Now, when his story went public, a lot of people just were not willing to accept that story. They said he was making it up so he could plead insanity at his trial and get a lesser sentence. But a world-renowned forensic psychologist named Philip Resnick, who had worked on many high-profile cases before, he did a lengthy assessment of Austin, and he came to a very different conclusion than the public. In his 38-page report, Resnick points out the fact that Austin continued to bite John's face even when he was being openly threatened with being shot by the police officer standing right over him. He continued to bite John's face after he was tased. He continued to bite John's face after he was kicked in the head repeatedly. He continued to bite John's face after a dog repeatedly bit him. This all suggests that Austin was truly in a psychotic state when this attack occurred. A sane person, even under the influence of drugs, will retain a basic survival instinct. They will try to protect themselves. So when there are guns pointed at them, or they're being physically harmed, or there's threats of violence, they'll do things to protect themselves. But Austin didn't. It was like he had no idea about anything else except
the one that's worse than being punted in the face is the dog bit onto your arm and you just yank it out of the dog's mouth. That's like, you know, you can't just say he's faking it. gosh. And I know Pink and I look traumatized because I am. How can you listen to this entire story and not be?
John's face. Resnick specified that the type of psychotic episode that Austin was suffering from on the night of the attack is something called clinical lycanthropy delusions. Clinical lycanthropy is a very rare occurrence where an individual believes they are no longer human. And almost always what they believe they are is something akin to a werewolf. And in Austin's case, it's not that hard to figure out why you might reach that type of conclusion. He had told his sister that he believed he was half horse, and then on a couple other occasions, he had told his other friends that he believed he was half dog. And then of course, on the night of the attack, after he killed Michelle, he pounced literally on John and began eating his face while making those loud animalistic grunting sounds. This is behavior that is certainly on par with what you would expect a werewolf to do in a movie. But this was not a movie, this was real life. After Austin came out of his coma, but before he had been transferred to jail, he agreed to do an interview with the clinical psychologist, TV personality Phil McGraw, better known as Dr. Phil. And during their 10-minute Zoom interview, Austin would break down and cry and say he was incredibly sorry to the family of the victims, that he didn't really know why it happened, and that clearly there was something wrong with him and he needed help, and he just hoped they could find it in their hearts to eventually forgive him. But it's unlikely the family of the victims are going to forgive him anytime soon, especially when you consider they came out in an interview and said, I hope Austin makes a full recovery from his coma, that he has no brain damage, that he is totally A-okay, so he can be fully aware and lucid when they read him his sentence. A sentence they hoped would be the death penalty. As of right now, though, the family of the victims will just have to keep on waiting because Austin is still in jail awaiting trial. So that's going to do it, guys. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please invite the like button to come with you to the zoo. And then when you're there, accidentally spill honey on them and then push them into the bear enclosure. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 2 or 3 video uploads. We are now selling merchandise like flannels and hats and mugs and sweatshirts and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, this is the part I want to re-emphasize here. I'm really disturbed by the fact that he was acting weird all summer and his family just brushed it off. Yeah. It's so sad. I feel like, in a way, the family is to blame because obviously he's not mentally healthy. You know what I mean? The family is a little to blame for not getting him the help sooner. I guess they just thought it was drugs, but then it's like, if you think it's drugs, like... If you think it's drugs, just give them help anyway. Anyway, let me put on some music. I'm gonna keep myself here. But I'm just gonna go quickly grab my fortune cookie. And then if anybody else would like to get a fortune too, maybe we can just have a quick moment of fortunes after that weird thing. After that video, I mean. But yeah, let me be right back really quickly. Okay? Fortune cookie time! Boy. Cookie here. I'm gonna open mine first, okay? I don't have any physical cookies for you, chat. But I can still give you guys fortunes. Like this. If you guys want a fortune by me, you can do this. I put it in the chat with Knifebot. And yeah. Yeah, we do watch a video. Wait a minute. Did I just get scammed? You guys heard me open the cookie, right? Hang on a second. Is there a freaking paper in here? What the heck? My bad luck continues. There's no fortune inside my cookie. I've never had this happen before. My bad luck is so bad today that even when I tried to increase my good luck by reading a fortune cookie, I only receive an empty cookie. I feel like crying! Ah! Alright. I'll just eat my scam cookie then. Oh, this is awful. Panda Express, you suck! Yeah. No, I'll only this is as the universe foresaw for me. I can't just cheat it and Google a fortune. It's not right. I opened it and I got nothing. That's when life gives you nothing, don't cry about it, I guess. It's the only Chinese restaurant I have near me. I have to drive like an hour to get to another, so. Wow! I know, at least the cookie's good luck. Thanks for the hydrate. How did they steal the fortune if I was the one that opened the package? You guys are gonna laugh, but I almost said it like... okay, how many of you guys have seen,
I apparently have a lot of the luck if you want some, haha.
Oh, please! Give me some of your luck! I need some. Yeah. Well, that's good to know, Rokam. Where does it say that? And when you read the fine print on the bottom of the cookie? Because mine doesn't say that. Have I seen... You know, I don't know what I was saying. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, have you seen Jilai Bilai Gumai Kandai? I remembered. Good night, Glossy. That's cute, Rokam. Thank you. Have any of you guys seen Jilai Bilai Gumai Kandai?
Blessing you with all the luck even though I don't have a lot either, Lil.
Thank you, Shino. Don't give me your luck. I don't take even half. We'll share, okay? You guys are disappointing. You haven't seen Jilai Bilai Gumai Kandai? Hang on. I thought this was common knowledge. What is it? Bilai. Pet right Gumai Kandai.
Thank you, B. Hello. Nice to run for thank you.
Thank you, Nuppy.
Today we have a Jilai Bilai Pete Rat Gumai Kandai.
Exclamation mark,
Jilai
hug you.
Bilai Pete Rat Gumai Kandai. Let's like it open so he can breathe. Fresh air. Pete Rat, time to come here livey. Escapity pakaki.
Alright, the only reason that this came to mind is because I stuttered when I said package, because I almost said pakaki. And that's why I... that's why I asked if you guys knew it, because I was gonna tell you, but you wouldn't understand.
Scappy, the Pakaki, Pete Rat Toys, very big and long, very big and long. The Batom Eyes, very flat. Good boy, very good boy. Pete Rat Eyes, a very good boy. A rat-tat-tat-tat, a rat-tat-tat-tat, a rat-tat-tat-tat. Smell my fine gear. Smell my fine gear.
I'm gonna do this when I get my 3D model. I'm gonna make chat smell my fine gear.
I'm giving my Pete Rat a head massage. A head massage. My Pete Rat has a strong bungy cord. A strong bungy cord. I must have this bungy cord. Snipe it off. Snipe. Oh, I like my bungy cord. I ties cutie. Could all you ties eyeball. Could all you ties eyeball. I wonder I.
Can you imagine somebody take the stereo and then as they cut out your eyeball, cut out his eyeball?
Pete Rat has a brain. I wonder if Pete Rat has a brain. Let's find out. Cut him open. I think I found his brain. I think I found his brain. I cannot pull it out. I dies stuck inside it. Bam, 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 banana, bam, 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 banana, 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 bam, 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 banana, 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 na, na, banana, na.
So,
yeah.
I thought it's common knowledge because this is from like 2014. I thought that it was common knowledge. I thought that everybody had seen this. Okay, guys. Well, my offer still stands. I will still offer you guys any fortune that you want. I will read you guys a fortune. My fortune was literally an empty cookie. I've never experienced that before. But if you guys would like a fortune after singing Kota's Open, yeah, I like that. You know, one time I liked that. Let me tell you guys right now, I liked that video so much that for my birthday 1 year, a while back, somebody got me that gummy candy rat. And it melted in the mail, but I literally have that gummy candy rat in a package. I literally have that exact rat melted in a package. Somewhat the shape of a rat still. It's just a little flatter. Yep. I don't want to eat it! Yeah, it's flatter because it melted in the mail when it was coming here. It's just a slightly melted rat. And I keep it in his pakaki. He's in his pakaki. I'm okay. How are you, Ghost? No worries. I still love you guys all the same, huh? Yeah. A pet rat flat glumai kandai rat. A flat pet rat. A flat pet glumai kandai rat. Yes. Maybe? Sleep well, hunters! I will see you again tomorrow, okay? How would he say though? Jilai Bilai Pet Rat Gumai Kendai? Where would you put flat in that? Flat Gumai Kendai? Flat Rat Gumai Kendai? Flat Pet Rat Gumai Kendai? Yeah, he does a lot of stuff like that, but I've never seen any of the other videos. I mean, sitting here in front of my face, I'm staring at this Pickle Rick getting throat surgery. Anyway, I don't really want to watch that. No, I'm talking about Pet Rat Gumai Kandai anime adaptation. Please. It's needed. We need it now more than ever. Please never leave me! I wish that there was just a clip of somebody like just taking something that I say, and then I wanna or just like bonk. I want that. I want that. Don't ask me why. I don't say anything worthy of either of those. But I don't know. Hey, you wanna watch this? This looks interesting. Music.
Hi, we fed our chicken flies which we bought from Giuseppe the Mantis.
Thanks, Giuseppe the Mantis.
And we came up with a bit of a challenge. Can
Those
you
are
manage
fruit
with
flies?
100 flies at once?
Dude, that's crazy.
This could be a...
Do you know, I know there's people that get those for free in their houses. Guys, you could be making a living selling your flies.
difficult task, especially if
People
the flies
buy
unite
it
against it
for
and
their
attack it at the
mantis and
same time.
their
I
little
don't think you
chicks
will be
and
able to
stuff.
deal with them. The fight shall take place in this box.
Oh, it's so
Let's just
cute.
hope the flies won't leave the battlefield. We place our athlete in the left corner.
Oh, there's so many!
And with a free
Go,
hand,
go,
we
go,
place
go!
100 angry flies on the battlefield.
And
And Chicken starts with the offensive.
So many are leaving.
But what will the flies do? They seem to be scared and run in different directions. Ah, panic! Meanwhile, Rambo attacks his opponents, and in a few seconds, he has managed to swallow dozens of flies. Flies have begun to climb the walls of our Colosseum and flee as far as they can from this hungry giant. Rambo ate practically all of the flies inside and cleaned up easily. He thinks that we ran out of flies. But we need to help him understand that there are still piles of refugees behind the walls. Now he is trying to catch all of the scumbags that try to escape. And Cockroach Marlboro is shocked. It would seem that almost all terrorists have been neutralized, and the victory goes to our chicken. This was a very difficult task, and not everyone would be able to deal with this number of opponents.
Dude, if you guys have
It's
a
like
bunch
having
of
to
flies,
deal
just
with a
buy a
full
chicken.
plate of noodles.
If you have a bunch of flies in your house, just buy a chicken. Just buy a chicken, Shino. Just get a little chicken. I bet he can eat all of your bugs in one day. He's so cute. Yeah, you have to clean up the chicken poo, and if you have a landlord, your landlord has to be okay with it. But think of the pros. There's not many cons. The poo is a small poo. It's a lot of poo, but it's a lot of small poo. It's a lot of small poo. Name him Little Nugget. Call him Wang. Hey, Wang! Come here, Lil Wang. Lil Wang. Lil Wang? Oh, but it's not a pet, Shino. Whenever your landlord asks, what is this? Say, it's a chicken. You're not allowed to have pets in the home, but it's not a pet. Then what is it? It's a chicken. You're using it. It's a tool. Yeah, exactly. It's the little fly eater. It's a service chicken. Say, I'll get rid of it once all of the bugs are gone. And then you give it to somebody else. Is here. I'm passing on. I'm passing on my family heirloom, the fly eater. Yeah, tell him that he can be the whole unit's fly eater. Say anybody else that has flies, just borrow my chicken. He's great at eating them. It's been 1 day and all of the ones that are alive are dead now. There's no more. Good night, Hunter. Hi, Vega. How are you doing, huh? Honestly, I have this weird relationship with birds. I freaking think chickens are adorable from far away, and ducks too, and a lot of other like pet birds. But then, like, as soon as I freaking see them in real life, and it's time to like touch them, or they're looking me in the eye, I feel like they can like, you know, like smell my fear, and I'm very afraid of birds, and so then I feel like they're just gonna, you know, peck me to death or something. So I'm scared to look at them that way. Welcome on, Viking. How are you doing? Yeah, so that's my weird relationship with I want a chicken, but then I don't want it to murder me. I feel like it will murder me. I'm very easy to murder. Hey! Welcome home, Shadow! Over 7 months! Dude! How can you put up with me for this long? I can't even put up with myself this long. You know what I'm gonna do? I might do something special for everybody that gets to 12 months. Yeah. That might be a special moment for me. When people start subbing in the chat and it says 12 months or more. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be crazy. Oh my. My year anniversary of streaming is next month, and it marks 1 year. But I'm still really excited. I'm really excited. And then I'm excited to see you guys be able to hit it for your subs too. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to come up with something special. That's gonna be crazy for the first few ones that get it. Thank you for the stretch, by the way. Yeah. Let me look here. I'll bring you guys somebody when we go. We'll go to you. I could, but my thing keeps jumping around. Stop jumping! And have less time? Oh no! What's your tech convention? What kind of stuff do you do at the tech convention, huh? Mode 5. Wow. You should bring me to the tech convention. I'm tech, huh? Yeah. Okay. I am tech. You could showcase me. Software developers, cloud development, psychology. Ooh. That's so cool. I hope you have fun. I hope you have a lot of fun. I'm gonna be here and I'll miss you. Can't wait to see you when you're back. I will be here. I hope you don't miss my birthday. It's a few days from now. Finally told my chat my birthday. I told them I'd never tell them my birthday. And now they're all gonna miss it. on the 16th! It's on the 16th, you weirdos. That's my birthday. Hi, Purple. How are you doing? Okay. Promise. What time? I haven't decided yet. Keep an eye on Twitter. I know you will. You'll be able to find out there, huh? You'll never know if it is. It might be. I'm scared to tell you if it is or isn't. But yeah! It is, maybe. Okay. Wow, you guys are being cute. I like ayaya. I like ayaya. Okay. I love you guys a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and go, but I will see you again tomorrow. I'll try and think of something that we can do, and I also need to plan the birthday stream. I need to get some events in order and get a timing set. But I'm excited. I'll set some goals too, and maybe something we can do is I recently got my drawing tablet and I'm learning the program. Maybe if it wouldn't be too embarrassing, you guys, I could draw for you, and I could draw for anybody that does a certain thing. You know what I mean? Maybe. Yeah, I'll set a goal and I'll draw. You know, like remember the time we did the subathon where it's like, oh, if you do this many subs, you get this thing. Maybe I'll do something like that and I'll draw you on stream. Something like that, like a little informal commission. I hope you guys go easy on me. I'm nervous, but maybe I'll do something like that. I'll get everything in order and it'll be on Twitter soon. Maybe we can also do a Gartic phone, and maybe I can see if any of my friends would like to hang out for the day. But I'm excited for that. I will do that enough, I promise, okay? Alright guys, I love you. Let me do this, and then first person to use text-to-speech gets to choose the raid message as long as it's appropriate. Text-to-speech, he gets to choose the raid message. Did I spell that right? Hang on, I need to cancel that. I spelled it wrong. Is it like this? There, that one's better. Okay. Yeah. If we don't get any text-to-speech, it will be a WoW raid with the WoW face. I like what Nezua did. That's super cute. Copy Nezua and say that a bunch. That's super cute. Alright, guys. I'll see you soon, okay? Take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I love you. I love you guys more than you guys know. Okay. Bye!